Introduction. When a dream is more than just a dream. You probably heard the name Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, the Hollywood superstar. But did you know that the real story of his life is far more powerful than what you've seen on screen? Arnold wasn't just a professional bodybuilder. He was a man who journeyed from a small village in Austria to the grandest stages of the world. A multi-time Mr. Olympia, then a blockbuster movie superstar, and eventually the governor of California, twice. Ever wondered how one person managed to achieve all of this? In this book, Total Recall, every struggle, every dream, and every victory of Arnold's life comes to light. And maybe, after reading this story, you too might begin to dream bigger. Out of Austria, from a snowy start to a warm journey. I was born in Austria in 1947. It was a time when World War II had ended, but fear, hunger, and uncertainty were still alive. It was the Cold War era. The threat of a Soviet attack loomed every day. We lived in a small village where life was very simple. 2 rooms, a small kitchen, and wood and coal to keep warm. My father was a policeman, strict and strong. My mother, a housewife, would go from village to village gathering food, sometimes sugar, sometimes butter, sometimes grains. Our childhood was full of hardships, but those hardships made us stronger. First screen, first dream. Going to the city to watch a movie felt like magic to us. The first film, Tarzan. That man swinging on the screen felt like he had stepped into our world. I was certain that screen was a path, and one day I would walk that path to reach a world called America. The ice cream dream. It wasn't just about dreaming. I had started acting on it. When I was 10 years old, I used to sell ice cream by the lake. I'd buy a dozen ice creams for 1 shilling and sell them near the lake at triple the profit. Gradually, I bought a cooler to keep the ice cream cold. I started earning around 150 shillings a day. That's about $6. Business in the day, movies in the evening. In that small village, I was nurturing a big dream. One day, I will go to America. Whoever I met, I'd say just one thing. One day, I will go to America. Whether it was a neighbor, a teacher, or a stranger at the bus stop. And everyone laughed. Yeah, Arnold. Of course you'll go. But I did go. And that day was the greatest victory of my life. Because it wasn't just about going to America. It was about taking my destiny into my own hands. Building a body. When one photo changed everything. One day at school, our history teacher handed us some newspaper articles. The task was to write our opinion on them. I got the sports section, and that's where my eyes locked on a picture. Mr. World, Kurt Marnell. He had set a bench press record with 190 kilos. That photo opened my eyes. Such a muscular body, such confidence, I was mesmerized. A friend, a spark. At Lake Park, there was a lifeguard, Willie. I used to watch him do push-ups every day. One day he smiled and said, "Want to try?" Willie was well connected with bodybuilders and weightlifters. He took me to Vienna, where the World Weightlifting Championship was happening. And there, I saw Kurt Marnell in person. His personality, his physique, everything was iconic. Inspiration can come from the screen. Too later, I watched a movie, Mr. Hercules and the Captive Women. Willie told me, that hero, Reg Park, he's Mr. Universe. That's when my imagination got wings. Kurt Marnell, Reg Park, Willie, they were all connected. One day, Willie gave me the news. Kurt himself is coming to Lake today. It felt like I was about to meet my hero. Kurt appeared extremely graceful and charming. There were always beautiful women around him. A truly iconic lifestyle. At 15, a mission begins. At the age of 15, I joined the gym for the first time. I started spending time with older bodybuilders. They felt like brothers, mentors. We all used to read bodybuilding magazines together, learning what to eat, how to train, how to build muscles. Land of dreams. California. I was most fascinated by American magazines. They had photos of bodybuilders, standing on beaches, striking poses, flexing magnificent muscles, and alongside them, bikini-clad supermodels. It all felt like another world. Reg Park's story became my roadmap. Reg Park, from England, born into a poor family, worked hard and became Mr. Universe, then got the role of Hercules. Then came movies, then money, then a Roman lifestyle. That became my dream. I knew. First I would become Mr. Universe. Then I would go to America, and one day, I would become a movie star. Crystal clear vision, relentless mission. My goal was clear. My determination unshakable. Now nothing could stop me. With every drop of sweat, I was moving closer to my dream, Mr. Universe. When dreams step onto the stage. I was 19 years old when I arrived in Munich. A boy from a small village had now reached a city that didn't sleep. It raced. I got a job as a gym trainer at Universal's sports studio. People from all walks of life came there. Police officers, businessmen, athletes, entertainers. And I trained them, working like a machine. I worked 8 hours a day, but before work, 2 hours of my own training. After work, another 2 hours. And if there were fewer customers on a day, I'd even squeeze in an extra 30-minute workout during my lunch break, straight to Mr. Universe. Most people start with Mr. Austria or Mr. Europe. But I was different. I wanted the top from the beginning. I began preparing for the Mr. Universe competition in London. I had only 2 months, and my greatest weapon was shocking the muscles technique. Never let your muscles rest. Always surprise them. Only then do they grow. Only then do they become powerful. Stage fright and inner fire. When I reached London, I saw the other contestants, and they were incredible. Looking at their physiques, I got a bit nervous. But once I stood on stage, one thing was clear. There's no turning back now. At the Victoria Palace Theatre, when it was time to pose, we all stood in line, numbers pinned to our waists. The judges would say, "Number 8 and 14, step forward, show your biceps." First defeat, first lesson. In the end, it was a tie between Chester Yorton and me. He won. I didn't. But people said, "Next year, victory is yours." Returning to Munich, one question echoed in my mind. If I had gone there thinking like a winner, would I still have lost? That very day, I made a vow. Next time I'll come back only with the trophy in my hand. 1967. Dream became reality. And when I won the trophy in 1967, everything happened just as I had imagined it. Arnold, Arnold, Arnold. My name echoed across the stage. I had defeated champions from India, Mexico, Jamaica, Scotland, South Africa. From all around the world. A star in the streets, and a packed gym now in Munich. I had become a star. I would walk the streets in posing briefs, and our gym started overflowing with people at double speed. I made a promise to myself. I'll win again in 1968. And I did just that. A photo that changed everything that year. One of my photos was printed in every magazine. In it, I was lifting a beautiful woman in one hand and flexing my biceps with the other. Then came a telegram. from Joe Weider, the Hugh Hefner of the bodybuilding world. He owned all the famous muscle magazines. He invited me to America, and he was covering all the expenses. New York, first dream, first shock. I reached America. The competition was in Miami, and I lost. I felt angry and disappointed. Now I had nothing in my pocket, just a small bag and empty hands. Joe Weider's call, a new life. The next morning, the phone rang. "I'm waiting for you downstairs." He interviewed me, listened to my story, and then said, "You stay in America, I'll take care of everything." He arranged my accommodation, gave me a car, and told me, "Just focus on training. One day, you'll be the best." Dream girl. When a tennis match sparked a connection. Stories about my training, progress, and daily life were regularly published in Joe Weider's magazines. And it was Joe who introduced me to the world of films. It was the year 1977. Joe met a producer in New York. He was looking for a lead role for a Hercules movie. At first, they planned to cast Mr. America, Dennis Tinerino. But Joe smartly suggested, "Arnold has won Mr. Universe 3 times. Who could be better?" The era of first films. I did movies like Stay Hungry and Pumpin' Iron. And during this time, she entered my life. An NBC evening, and the beginning of the heartbeat. There was a celebrity tennis event in New York. I met NBC anchor Tom Brokaw and Senator Ted Kennedy. And then I met Maria Shriver, NBC News reporter and a member of the Kennedy family. Long, dark hair, a confident smile, eyes glowing with positive energy. There was something about her that drew me in. A filter-free heart talk right. In front of her mother, I said, "Your daughter has a great ass." Luckily, Eunice Kennedy laughed. She simply said, "That's nice to hear." Memories of Hyannisport Maria invited me to their family compound. Hyannisport. I showed up in just tennis shorts, but she said, that's all you need." I went swimming with the Kennedy cousins, met their grandmother Rose Kennedy. And the whole time, I wore just those tennis shorts, the Terminator, birth of a killer icon. Now I was officially a U.S. citizen. Conan the Barbarian had launched my Hollywood career. I was being paid $1 million per film. But I didn't want to do just 1 or 2 movies. I wanted to reach the top. No drama, only power roles. I knew I couldn't become a dramatic actor like Dustin Hoffman or Steve Martin, but like Clint Eastwood or John Wayne. Bold, larger-than-life characters? Absolutely. The Terminator, villain or hero? Then I was offered a role in The Terminator, 1983. The role, a cyborg killer. The dialogues, very few. I was confused, but director James Cameron said, "You're perfect for this." Behavior. Like a real machine, I told James. Whoever plays the Terminator needs training. How to shoot without blinking, load bullets like a machine, show no emotion, no expressions. Cameron smiled and said, "You'll be the Terminator." I hesitated, but somewhere inside, I knew this role was made for me. Only face on a poster. Mine. Then I thought, what if it's just my face on the poster? Even if I'm the villain? So what? People remember a villain, if he's powerful enough. 1984. The boom begins. The Terminator released just before Halloween in 1984. It stayed number 1 for 6 straight weeks, made over $100 million. And when I walked down the streets of New York, "Hey, Terminator!" That's what everyone called me now. Marriage and movies, love, popcorn, and power. Maria and I. We were both at the peak of our careers. She became the co-anchor of CBS Morning News, and I was Hollywood's top action star. In 1986, we decided to get married. I was 37, she was 30, and just 2 days before the wedding, I was stuck in a jungle in Mexico, shooting in marriage. At the same time, I was filming Predator at that time. I asked the producer, "Can we pause shooting for a few days?" He said, "Not a chance. The rainy season's coming." So for the first time ever, I chartered a private plane just to reach my own wedding on time. The big day, when time stood still. The wedding took place at a church near the Kennedy compound. When Maria walked down the aisle in her wedding gown, time froze. Her smile, her eyes, everything was perfect. And then walks in Andy Warhol. Just as we were about to say "I do," the church doors opened. Andy Warhol walked in, the world-famous artist and my friend. With him was Grace Jones, wearing a green dress and a green fur hat. Everyone laughed. This wasn't just our wedding moment. It was a full-on celebrity moment. From Conan to cash. My goal. Double the money I had set a personal target. With every new movie, I'd double my fee. Conan the Barbarian, 1980. $250,000 Terminator, 1984. $750,000 Commando, 1985. $1.5 million Predator, 1987. $3 million Total Recall, 1990. $10 million Hollywood Secret. Action plus humor. One thing was common in all my films. A little humor in the middle of the action. Like in The Terminator. When he stands at the door, choosing a response, "Hefk you a hole?" The audience laughed. Tension broke. And that's where connection happens. Family, fatherhood, and Halloween. As the Terminator, we became parents to 4 children. Catherine, Christina, Christopher, Patrick. I took them to movie sets, trained them in the gym, went hiking, fishing, skiing, did everything. Once, Maria dressed up as the Terminator for Halloween. There's a photo of us. I'm kissing her while she's wearing a real Terminator mask. Dinner table, redefined back in Austria. My father used to say, "No talking at dinner." But I broke that rule. At dinner, we sat together and talked about our day. Every single day. The governor, from Hollywood to state politics people, laughed when I said I wanted to run for governor. Once, former Governor Pete Wilson said, "Arnold, your governorship will feel like kindergarten cop." Everyone laughed, but I remembered. Ronald Reagan was an actor too. And later, he became president. The dream to become governor. I knew I could never become US president because I wasn't a natural-born citizen. But I thought, Governor of California? Why not? I wanted to be the kind of leader who brought positive change. California, bigger than countries. California stats population, 38 million GDP, 1.9 trillion languages spoken, 100 plus. But in 2000, the tech bubble burst. There were blackouts, a massive budget crisis. As governor, I had to face all of it. What next? In 2001, I asked myself, should I be a producer, a director, a visual artist? But to me, only one thing felt right. The 2002 governor campaign. The legend ends or begins. In 2006, I was elected again. In 2010, I stepped down from the governor's post, but I never stopped. Because I'm not just a man, I'm a movement. Arnold's rules. 3 timeless lessons from a legend. When I stepped away from politics, I returned to movies with The Expendables, Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis. 3 legends together on one screen. But I didn't want to be just an actor. I wanted to become an inspiration. Rule 1. Live every day to the fullest. There are 24 hours in a day, and every hour brings a new opportunity. At a lecture in the University of California, a young student stood up and said, "Sir, tuition is expensive. I need financial aid. And now I have to work part-time along with my studies." I asked, "How long are your classes?" He replied, 3 hours of classes, 3 hours of study." I asked again, "What do you do with the remaining 18 hours?" He fell silent, and I said, "Work, learn. Your future matters more than your girlfriend or parties." Rule 2, don't blame, take charge. You had no control over your childhood, over how your parents raised you, but you do control what you do today. My father was strict. He didn't let me go to the gym, he mocked me, but I never blamed him. I turned my pain into passion. My struggle became my driving force. Rule 3, stay hungry, always push forward. Don't settle after just one achievement. Successful people never stop. Bono, musician, producer, advocate. Trump, inherited money, grew it tenfold. Sergeant Shriver, explored new paths till his last breath. You'll have plenty of time to rest after death. For now, live with fire. Learn new things. Follow your passion. Be a blessing to others, not a burden. Conclusion. He saw it. He achieved it. Arnold dreamed of becoming Mr. Universe, and he won. He dreamed of becoming a Hollywood star, and he conquered it. He dreamed of becoming governor, and he was elected. Why? Because he didn't just dream. He prepared for that dream every single day. Now it's your turn. Your life is in your control. No excuses allowed. Make every day productive. Arnold says, "I'm not perfect, but I try." So now it's your turn to say, "I'll be back. Stronger. Better. Focused."